Hello and welcome to Don't Feed the Geeks, presented by the Long Island Comic Guys, the masters of the geeky verse. All right, we have a fun crew here today. We're gonna have our interview later with Dawn McTeigue. Awesome interview. That was pre-recorded with me, TC, JJ, and the Dungeon Master. But first, we're going to go into our geek beat. Right now, we have...
It would be nice if you introduced
Yeah, that would be nice if you introduced who was here today.
I was just about to do that.
Oh, God.
I said, first, we're going to go into our geek beat, which we have today with us, Bojo, Toy Story, and JJ.
What's up, everyone?
Welcome.
Wow, I wish you guys were this quick to jump on the stuff to say normally.
You know, I'm trying to come up with a tagline. Like, we got the DM, like, welcome adventures. Like, I want to try something out where I've got my own little tagline.
All right, so here we go.
But no, I'm
Bojo.
You screwed it up, man.
Hi.
Toy Story.
Hello.
And JJ.
Yeah,
Come on,
hi.
let's hear
No,
your great
I don't know
tagline.
now. See, the moment's gone.
Oh, gosh. All right, who's taking away the geek beat today?
Mr. Bojo?
Bojo, what are we doing?
I am sure that we can pull this.
Pull it.
We'll bounce around a little.
Bop it, twist it. Anyway,
You're
so on the Geek Beat today, we're gonna have a few items of Batman news. Batman: The Golden Child had a little bit of controversy. That's a title that's coming up.
Was Eddie Murphy in that one?
That's a great movie.
Sorry,
Tywin Lannister.
I like it. That was a good movie.
The Geek Beat. The Golden Child, pardon me, is a sequel to DK3, Dark Knight Returns 3.
Oh, jeez.
It's a one-shot issue.
Oh, okay.
Art is by Raphael Grampa, which if you haven't seen this guy's stuff, he's unbelievable. He's
Is he a
dynamic.
grandpa?
What's that?
Is he a grandpa?
I don't think so. I think he's a young guy.
Okay.
But he's doing the artwork. It's 48 pages. It comes out on December 11th.
That's his last name.
Yeah, his last name's Grandpa. The first time I ever saw his work was in a pinup in Daredevil 500. Absolutely beautiful piece of original Daredevil wearing like the old boxer gear. Just absolutely fantastic. Anyway, they've been promoting this book. It's about Carrie Kelly, I guess, is like Batwoman, and
How old is she at this point?
I don't know.
35.
I don't.
Like still a kid or like clearly older?
Young woman.
Okay.
And also there's maybe a little bit older. And Jonathan Kent, who's, I guess, Superman's child. This very young Superboy. He has, I suppose, the Golden Child. But recently got a little bit of controversy because the promo they were doing for it was, Batwoman with a Molotov cocktail throwing it. And it
Oh, I
says
saw
the future
that.
is young.
Yeah.
Right? And everyone in China was like, what? This must be in support of Hong Kong. So, like, DC was just like, we're going to pull that.
So it's canceled.
No,
They're
they
such
just pulled
cowards.
the promo image. People misconstrued it and thought that they pulled
Which happens
the
a
whole
lot.
cover. Yes, they thought they pulled the whole cover. The cover wasn't happening. It was just a promo image with those words on it. The actual cover is still coming out.
Ridiculous.
It'll be in stores on
People don't
December
like to
11th.
read
Oh,
news
wait, so
stories.
just the words were removed?
Yeah, just the words and the image promoting it. We're just like,
Oh.
we're just gonna pull this from
I mean,
promotion.
I have
now.
no knowledge of what's going on over there, so I'm not even going to add my 2 cents.
That's all I'm saying is it's out. It's out later
Ooh,
this.
it's
this
out
week.
on my birthday.
Yes.
Oh.
In other Batman news, Sean Murphy just recently posted an image that had the he's working on the 3rd White Knight series, and I know last
No
episode,
surprise there.
yeah, last episode I know we talked about the White Knight series. It was it was just Batman White Knight, and then
But it's Batman White Knight and Curse of the White Knight.
Curse of the White
yeah.
Knight. So this one is going to be called Beyond the White Knight.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if that means Batman Beyond, because he did do covers for Batman Beyond. I know he's a big fan of the animated universe. His books feel very much like adult versions of those, the 90s animated
Yeah,
series.
I could totally see that.
But, like,
Bullock
not-
has like a very similar look. I feel like Bullock's really... I mean, some of them do. The Batman, I don't get the feel of the animated
Not the
series
Batman,
from,
but definitely
some-
the Nightwing.
Yeah.
Definitely the Nightwing.
Interesting.
And it's like it's adult, but not in the way that, the Killing Joke movie got weird and was adult.
What do you
So
mean
is
it got
this
weird?
going to be under the black label?
Yeah, it's going to be another black label comic. I would assume. It's like he subtitled it, I think it was like White Knight 3.
No, gotcha.
Lastly, on the Batman subject, is James Tynion was kind of like laying out what he's going to be doing in a few months in the Batman title. For those of you who don't know, James Tynion, who was James Tynion the third, I believe is his
The fourth.
Fourth? Son of a
Yes.
gun. Good for that family. So James Tynion the fourth is taking over Batman at the very end of issue 85 and then starting from 86. And rumor is that he's just running to issue 100. Recently, in the City of Bane storyline, spoilers, so if you have not been reading and would like to read it, I would skip ahead about a minute. They killed off Alfred. And
He's not dead.
I didn't think he was. I think plans changed.
There could be a clone.
I actually think there was going to be a Lazarus pit.
I was just about to say.
It was either going to be a Lazarus pit or it was a Clayface a person, like fake out. I don't know what it was, but what wound up happening is I think that there was such a response to Alfred dying that they just were like, you know what? There's something here. Let's leave the guy dead and see what happens. So stepping into kind of the Alfred role to help rebuild the Batcave, rebuild all the tech, rebuild the man is Lucius Fox. And apparently this kind of dovetails into the whole idea that Batman may not be Batman in a year or so, that somebody else might be stepping into the role, and the big heavy rumor is that it's going to be Luke Fox, and Lucius Fox being Batman's second in command. Apparently Tynion wants Luke Fox wants his dad to kind of like slow down, step down, retire, and this whole like sleeping 3 hours a night thing is like really draining. And he wants Luke to step into his role instead.
How many times have we done this? Maybe we need to do a show like on a subject like this where we've got a Batman and they've twisted and turned it so many times.
We could do a whole episode called The Replacements.
It's just so
Replacements.
ridiculous.
I mean, it's only temporary. It's a shake up. Nobody's gonna stay on long term for non Bruce Wayne Batman. I mean, I think they understand that. I think it's just a gimmick to get a couple more books sold.
yeah.
Potentially, and you know what? If they have a story to tell, it's interesting, it's different, and eventually comes back to status quo. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
I have no issue with it, like a short term thing. Like, I mean, I could never even possibly see it as a long term. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, even with Alfred, like I can see him being dead for like maybe a few years, and then they like turning that around too.
Oh, they would riff on the old outsider character where like there's a villain who pops up who knows everything about Batman, and it turns out it's Alfred, and blah, 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 who died in the comics earlier.
That's hilarious.
It's way back when.
JJ, you're rolling your eyes.
I'm so tired of the killing somebody off and then they'll bring them back later or this and that. It's just
Is Wolverine still
now
dead?
we got Lucius Fox. I mean,
No.
his kid's gonna be supposed.
Well, Luke Fox is Batwing.
Right. That
So
I know.
like he's an established character. He's not that old. Like he was only recently created back in 2012,
yeah.
give or take.
Something
I think
like that.
So he's not that old. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let it play out. Let's see how it goes, and we'll go from there.
You can tell me about it later.
So one of the last things we have on the DC side is they premiered the new Harley Quinn animated series on the DC universe.
So we're going Batman adjacent here.
Yes. Well, yeah, that was why I skipped that one. So we did a little skipperoo. Some people are confused.
It's okay.
I feel like that'll play
Yeah.
play good at the end. So I saw this. I think just me and JJ.
I saw this.
Yeah, I didn't watch
check
it.
this out.
I forgot about it until you guys mentioned it today. honestly.
Yeah, so last weekend it was a quiet weekend. My family was away, so I tried catching up on some stuff, and I saw that this was on there after I watched the last episode of Titans, which was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, not blowing me away. I felt like I overall did, I think, like the first season better, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But back to the Harley Quinn show. First, the portrayal. So there's about 5 or 6 characters we're going to talk about. I'm sure there's more that we're just ignoring right now. And we've only seen the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone who knows Alan Tudyk, he was the voice of, what is it, K2SO?
K2SO.
Yep.
SO in Rogue One.
He's
done, A Knight's Tale. He's been in he was in Doom
Fire-
Patrol.
Firefly.
Really funny guy.
Most importantly, he was Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball.
Steve the
Yeah,
Pirate.
Steve
that's
the
right.
Pirate in
Arr.
He's Sonny the Robot and I Robot. Sorry, I'm going to stop. I love this guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
Love
he's
this
really
guy.
good. He's he plays the Joker. He voices the Joker. I thought he was
I couldn't tell. Like when I first heard it, I didn't know that was
he
him.
does really good voice work.
He does.
And it was. I think a lot of us are used to hearing the Mark Hamill Joker,
Yes.
but he made it his own without like trying to drastically change it, which I think is a good thing.
Right.
I thought he was hilarious, kind of seamless in the role. He has the right, voice tone.
Yep.
I guess, he has the right sense of humor. Big fan of him. Probably my favorite voice actor there. What about you?
He was my favorite in this animation.
Agreed. And I mean, granted, this is a show about Harley Quinn, so I'm not sure how many episodes he's going to be in there for. But my next favorite character was anybody who knows JB Smoove. He's on.
Who is he?
He's in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I've
Do you ever watch that?
Never
He
watched
plays
it.
Leroy.
He was one of the chaperones in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yes, he was. The two teachers. He was like part of
The black guy?
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
He's very
makes sense.
funny.
He is hilarious.
Oh,
as
he is
Frank
funny.
the Plant, one of Poison Ivy's like house plants. He's great. He makes a lot of jokes.
I
It
liked
was
him.
some raunchy jokes, but we'll get into that a little bit at the end. Then we had Ivy. She was Lake Bell. Lake Bell does a ton of stuff.
I didn't look any of these people up yet.
She's you've probably seen her in like a few small roles here,
I'm gonna look her
and
up
there.
right now.
But if you ever watch the movie Pets, she plays Chloe the cat.
I
Well,
haven't
my
seen
daughter.
Oh,
Secret
the
Life
Secret
of
Life
Pets?
of Pets.
Yeah, Secret Life. Oh yeah, Secret Life Pets. She does a lot of voice work. I think she was good as Ivy. She was kind of funny, like nothing too crazy. I think she's the right personality for Ivy, like not like too crazy or whimsical. She had like the right tone and everything, in my opinion. Again,
Yeah, I felt she was very plain. Like wasn't like even the animation on her, it was just very plain, and it wasn't. I get these visions of I love Poison Ivy. I love the character, and everybody's got their own take on what she looks like, and this was just very monotone. It didn't stand out.
I mean, it wasn't like crazy, like sexy that we've seen some versions of Poison Ivy. It was like, I think, trying to get her more of a serious look. But yeah, I can get what you're saying.
Oh, I like Lake Bell.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Searching while we talk.
Got it. Okay, moving on.
And then the next character we're going to talk about is Dietrich Bader, voices Batman. Now, I don't know his character on, what was it?
It's Oswald on Drew Carey Show.
Yes, the Drew Carey Show. I didn't even realize that was him at first until I looked. Like, he does a pretty good job. He does good voice
He was
work.
the voice of Batman for Batman the Brave and the Bold.
Oh, that's
gotcha.
right.
He's done it before.
Yeah, he's a pretty good Batman. I mean, like, again, like, it doesn't center on him, so there's not a lot of him, but like, when he's there, it's pretty good.
Okay, I liked him. I liked his character.
I think you didn't get too much or too
Didn't get a
little.
lot of
It was-
Batman, which
I
I
think it was
liked.
the right amount of Batman.
Yes, I agree.
So I don't know how you felt about this, but there was only one like portrayal that I wasn't really a big fan of. So, and I love this guy. So Christopher Maloney.
Again, I don't know.
So he's from Law and Order SVU.
Early seasons.
He plays like one of the colonels or lieutenants in Man of Steel. He's the one with the knife.
If you've ever seen Wet Hot American Summer, he's the guy who's in love with the refrigerator.
He's in some weird show where he's like talks to a rabbit or something, doesn't he?
Oh, he was in Happy.
Yeah.
Based off of Grant
that
Morrison
guy?
property. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this guy. He's in Oz too.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, he's in Oz.
that's an extreme rated, not for kids.
So, but my issue was
I like him.
is
Okay.
that they made Gordon like super burned out, like he's like almost like a crazy whimsical, like
He's-
overly burned out character, and I'm like,
I think he's worse than Harley on a bad day.
yeah, like he seems
we
like
haven't
he's
even
like
talked about Harley
over the yeah. Well, we're
Well,
saving Harley for last.
My least, I hated that character. It made
Was it
no.
her voice?
No.
So Kaylee Cuoco
Oh,
first
we're-
is voicing Harley.
Okay.
She's obviously Penny from The Big Bang Theory. I don't really know. So I believe she's producing this show with a production company that she did with someone else. Bojo is looking at an image right now. We haven't got to that yet.
That's
It
some
was
serious 5 o'clock shadow.
really, it was
Of who?
very introductory.
Gordon.
Yeah, I didn't like the character. Like,
like a
it was
9 o'clock
just
shadow.
like if they should have kept him out.
Yeah.
I think it ruined a lot, especially the scene on top of the building. Like, it just
Yeah, I watched that again, and I was just like, well, let me make sure I get my thoughts right here on this. And I watched it again, and I was like, yeah, I don't like it. It wasn't for me. It's not that I didn't like it. He's just, his portrayal just wasn't for me.
Good way to put it.
But so let's get into Kaylee Cuoco's Harley Quinn. So I have mixed feelings. I know your feelings. I thought at times she was okay. It's hard because like I don't really know anyone else who does her voice other than the one who did her voice. Apologies, I don't know her name in the animated series.
Tara Strong did it for a
Strong,
while.
yeah.
I don't think she was the original though, and I don't know the original voice actress's name. And I'm
I mean,
sorry.
I'm very used to like
Tara
that
Strong's like a
voice.
veteran.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I don't think she was awful. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and like maybe
yeah.
check out one or two more. But like there's times where it just sounds very much like Penny.
Yeah.
And not so much like there's lines here and there where she's doing a good job, but
I
don't know.
I felt like her voice didn't fit Harley. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't fit. And if you closed your eyes, you would not think that you were watching Harley. Like it would just. It didn't fit at all. What? Oh, you want me to scroll? Just say scroll. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. I'm hoping I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt also, and I'm hoping it gets better.
So again, this is guess the last point we'll talk about before putting this thing to bed is it is an adult original animated series. It's geared towards adults. It's like rated R as to the most it could be R. And it just seems like the violence was like some people were like it was too violent. I was like I think the violence was okay-ish.
It's all right.
I don't think it was too terrible, but the profanity
Was it just cursing for the sake of cursing?
and that's what it was.
Forced,
like
and
it felt like the first episode of Titans season 1 where like they were just cursing and like being overly violent to prove a point.
Just
where it's just
because
like,
they can.
hey,
They only did one curse word in the first one. It was the F word that he dropped. This one here,
there was a couple here
well,
and there.
Are there
but-
F-bombs?
But this one,
Oh,
one,
yeah.
it's
like-
her third word in the show is an F bomb.
Yeah.
The third one, and then it's
Like
right, and it doesn't stop.
The opening scene, her and Joker are just cursing back and forth, and the characters they're interacting with are cursing like nonstop.
I didn't think it was needed.
Yeah, it seemed.
They might have planned that. They might have planned that simply because if it's a Harley Quinn cartoon, parents think the kids can watch it.
Yeah.
If your third word is an F-bomb, you immediately stop it, and that's as far as the kid gets. It might be a situation like
That's true.
It was actually a turnoff. I
Listen,
did enjoy what because of that. And
I
I got listen. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. Like I talk trash. I speak.
Yeah, but even in movies and stuff, I don't mind if feels like it's
right.
out
It,
of
it
place.
felt like out
If it
of
feels
place.
out of place,
This
then
was
it doesn't
not.
work.
This didn't fit.
Yeah.
It didn't fit. Maybe certain parts, but it was so much of it.
I'm gonna give it like maybe one more episode or two more episodes to get a feel for it. But I don't
20
know.
minutes, half hour?
Yeah, about that.
Half hour, yeah.
I'm not
So longer than
completely
The
sold
Mandalorian?
yet. Yeah,
I don't think that it was made for me. I saw
Probably not.
We're
I saw
getting good at this,
trailer-
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
No. In all seriousness, I watched the Harley Quinn movie that came out, the Batman Harley Quinn movie, which incidentally is Bernadette from The Big Bang Theory.
Yes,
The
yes.
actress does the voice of Harley Quinn in
See, and I
that.
can see her more as that.
It
Then
fit,
And that's great. She sounds great on that.
it fit better. The
Yep.
movie was oh my god.
But the voice fit at least.
This voice didn't fit.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw the trailer for this. I knew that they were bleeping out stuff in the trailer, and I was like, "This is
You know,
not
it's even
gonna
harder
be
though
for
when
me."
you have an iconic voice to base it off of.
Right.
Yeah, and she was
Like-
introduced in the cartoon first. It's not like you have like a
Yeah.
character on a
Yeah.
piece of paper that you're basing your voice on.
Yeah,
You
she
have,
has like a specific way that she talks that you base it off of. Just like Joker, you're comparing everything to Mark Hamill.
Like the thing that bothered me the most is the way she said pudding. She's like my pudding.
Yeah.
Like it was. I think I even did it better than her. She was like pudding.
It just
It was weird.
It was strange.
Yeah. Did you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I'm gonna give it.
That's
I'll probably watch the entire season.
I don't want to give it like a grade yet.
No,
Wait till the end.
Yeah.
because right now it would be so low
Yeah.
that. But I'll end up watching the entire series. But it's just I don't.
All right.
seems like a long bit for the geek
Well,
beat.
Sorry.
Moving on.
let's jump onto the other side of the pond here.
So
with,
I want to hear
Marvel.
about this fractional shares of a
What is
comic.
this about?
Oh, you guys didn't see this?
No. Yeah.
All right, cool. So I saw this article where there's I guess like an investment firm or something like that that's starting to try and sell fractional shares of a comic or fractional shares of things.
So you can literally buy a
like,
share of Hulk 181.
Yes, like they have a 9.8 copy of Hulk 181, and since this book keeps going up and up and up in value,
Is it really though still going up?
I think a 9.8's worth how much these days?
9.8s are solid. Mid to mid upper has been going
So
down,
like
but
they would
still.
sell shares in this, and then as that book continues to balloon in value, like you could either sell your share to someone else to buy a share.
literally a
of-
stock.
Yeah, it's basically what it
That's
is.
funny.
It's a commodity, which I just think is wild.
There's got to be
And
a cap to
I'm
that,
actually
though.
surprised that hasn't happened sooner.
See, like that's why I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
Is like for the collectors out there, like I thought this was fascinating.
Yeah,
Why
that is.
hasn't this been done before?
That is.
Everyone pools their money and goes and buys a Detective 27 or something, or
I
maybe
feel
it's
like
Fantasy 15.
It might not be like publicized, but there probably are people who are doing
Well,
it. Like
yeah.
like say
Small
the three of
groups.
us are
I mean,
like,
this
hey,
is different
like,
than people splitting a comic. Like,
Yeah,
if you're
but-
selling shares, like,
yes.
you know what I mean?
One of my favorite Simpsons episodes.
Oh, that's
I've
right.
actually seen that.
That's a good one.
That's interesting. Though.
That is interesting. I did not hear about this.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a hard cap to eventually some of these books. Like, how high can really a Hulk
Well,
181
that's
go?
with anything.
we say that every year, and then it keeps going.
Does it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I mean, I think you're going to see it hit its probably peak once they announce another Wolverine.
Yeah, and then it'll slow,
And then it'll stay.
it'll plateau for a while, I think.
Well,
and
I
then
think that's
maybe,
part of the heat on this is like, hey, Marvel finally has the Fox properties
Yeah.
back,
Yes.
the X-Men
100%,
properties back.
yeah.
There's going to be a Wolverine, and there's going to be a good.
Yeah, they're
Well, I
betting
mean,
on
like
that.
Hugh Jackman was great,
Yeah.
but like they're going to have
It's not going to be a
a
disappointment.
Marvel
like
Cinematic
Fox trying to
Universe
redo it.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Well, listen, even if this book goes down, it's never going to be
Worthless. He's
Yeah.
he's there's in my I don't people can argue all they want. He's their second biggest character in the
agree.
comic books. It's Spider-Man, then him.
Mm.
I mean, maybe with the movies, other characters have jumped up there in popularity. The only reason people buy X-Men books, I guarantee you, the X-Men books that he's in are the ones that sell the most.
I buy it for Cyclops.
Yeah, but you're in a minority. I think you would agree with me as a former employee of a comic book store. The books that generally
Highest
sell,
sellers.
especially X-Men,
Yeah.
are the ones Wolverine's featured in.
Yeah, I would say that Wolverine is generally a draw. Deadpool is a draw.
But I feel like Deadpool's more of a recent thing, though.
Oh yeah, but Wolverine. That's the thing is like
Wolverine, I feel, has been big since like the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't originally popular. Fun story.
Really?
Fun factoid: he was not originally popular. It was only till after the Hellfire storyline, the Dark Phoenix storyline, that he wound up being popular.
Yeah, because then he finally got that one cover appearance, and they gave him like awesome.
It was the ending scene where it's like he's in the sewers and he turns around and he's like, "Now it's my turn."
Yeah, I love that. That was a great read.
That was a big turnaround for the character. People wanted Claremont to kill him before that. I'm not kidding. Last thing, I'm gonna kick this over to Toy Story.
Ooh, we are getting into Star Wars.
So I
season,
think we should
everybody.
talk about one more thing briefly after this, though.
After this.
Black Widow.
Oh yes. I wanna see that.
Oh yeah, that was a thing.
Yeah.
I'll be quick. So, and actually, in addition to this, something I learned today. So this is a super rumor, but I'm seeing it a lot online. So J.J. Abrams said that he finished. They finished the movie officially as of last Sunday, which was the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So officially finished as of then. What people are saying, insiders, are that they were trying to decide between 3 cuts of the movie. One was, and they all had different endings. That's what the different cuts were. One was J.J. Abrams' cut. One was Bob Iger's cut. And one was a George Lucas cut.
Wow.
And which one did Hayden Christensen direct?
The rumor is that the first 2 did pretty bad at test screenings, and Lucas's did the best. So they're likely going with that.
It's all the midichlorians, baby.
And that Hayden is in Lucas's version.
Ooh.
So only in Lucas's version?
That's what I saw. I have no idea how true this is, but it's been floating around.
I can't believe you're spreading rumors.
I know, because I would,
love spreading rumors.
yeah.
So the real question is, who did that? Which version did the terminally ill fan see? Because apparently there was a terminally ill fan in England with cancer who tweeted at Mark Hamill, J.J. Abrams, and Disney Star Wars like a little while back, a few months ago, and Lucasfilm said that it wasn't ready, but he would be put on a list, and he was able to actually see it on Sunday the 24th.
Yep.
You know,
So maybe they did decide.
so maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe
I mean, it's done now.
Maybe
they
he
picked
made the
something by
decision.
it then. Maybe.
it seems like a lot of power to give a dying man,
Well, you know,
which is terrible to say.
I like that they do this though. They did this for Force Awakens too with someone.
I know
this,
they did.
Didn't they take this like from
a
like
movie.
that movie?
Fanboys.
Yeah, Fanboys.
Great movie.
Fanboys is basically based on like one of their buddies is dying,
He's got
and they're
cancer.
like trying to get to Skywalker Ranch to see Phantom Menace.
That was
I feel bad.
Have
for
you
that
seen
guy
it?
that I've seen
that was the
No, I haven't.
first
Oh,
movie.
it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Dan Fogelberg's in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that was the first movie I ever saw him in. He's in Walking Dead currently, I think, but like he's been in the recent Fantastic Beasts movies. He's
Yeah,
the
he's-
best character in it.
He's also on the Gold.
The Baker.
Yes.
Yes. I
He's
know
also
exactly
he's also on the Goldbergs. I love him in the Goldbergs.
He's good. He's really good.
I haven't
He's,
seen
yeah,
it.
he's great in the Goldbergs.
He's really funny.
I love him.
Anyway,
It's you got to check it out if you
I
haven't.
will.
You have to check it out.
I think that's it for the Geek Beat.
We'll be seeing Star Wars in 2 weeks.
Yes,
2.5
we do.
weeks. We'll see.
Are we gonna talk about Black Widow?
Black
See,
Widow.
if it's not
Alright,
written
quickly.
down, I can't. I don't remember things.
All right, so who remembers the most about what they saw?
Oh, so there was a trailer that came out.
Some fat
recently.
dude wearing a weird suit.
So good.
What is that?
Awesome.
So I didn't hear it.
good.
I had to
Awesome.
read it because I forgot my headphones at home today. But I saw him put it on, and like whatever he was saying, I was like, he's gonna be great as this guy.
Yes,
This is so
100%.
perfect for him.
Okay, so we're talking about the new Black Widow trailer that dropped. And it's our first shot that we're seeing everybody, basically.
Yeah.
All we've seen so far is concept artwork.
Yep.
So all we've seen is like that one shot with Taskmaster in it. I briefly saw him in the trailer. I only watched the trailer once, so maybe I'm the worst person to be talking about this. So I didn't go back and double check what he looked like. But let's talk about David Harbour as the Red Guardian.
It looks great. He's got
Holy
a
mackerel.
great
I'm so
big
excited.
bushy beard.
Oh,
I
he
can't
looks
wait.
so
And that's definitely going to tie into like Stranger Things 3. He's like, I need to have the big bushy beard.
he's practicing his Russian.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar
Sorry,
with
it's
that
terrible.
character. When I saw that, I'm like, what is that?
He had a one or two comic appearance.
It was
Two?
literally like Avengers 43, 44.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go, Pete.
And then spoilers. You don't make it.
Yeah. but-
Cholesterol level must be really high.
I love it though. It's like, you got fat.
So when does this story take place?
So
in the Marvel
I heard
universe?
after Civil War.
I heard yes, after Civil War, but before Infinity War.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it squeezes into that little time. I guess she's like revisiting Budapest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which was
I'm
like,
excited.
yeah, briefly
this movie
teased.
So
in
is
the original
Hawkman going to be in
Avengers.
this? Do we think?
Hawkeye?
Hawkeye?
I don't think so.
Hawkeye.
Maybe
They've said no, but that usually means he's probably going to have the smallest of
He's
cameos.
got to probably make it because they talked about that in one of the shows.
it was
in
Avengers, the
movies.
original Avengers movie.
Interesting.
I have a lot of red in my ledger. I think was the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just like
But
Budapest.
it looks exciting. Was it May 1st?
May 2020.
May 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so that's good.
First Marvel movie since
Endgame. Yeah, crazy.
That's a lie because Spider-Man: Far From Home came out after.
That's
Come
a-
on,
that's a-
guys.
that's a
Come
Sony-
on.
So-
Well, F you.
It's a Sony / Marvel joint production. So
And
technically he was right.
It was delightful.
Oh, you finally saw it?
Yeah, I finally
you did?
saw it. It
You
was
liked
it was delightful.
All right, let's
I
not
actually
get into
have I rented Shazam and Hellboy recently from they were both on sale. I haven't watched them yet. They're literally just like
Hellboy's on.
I like Shazam.
Hellboy will be January on HBO.
Oh, really? Wait. Oh, well.
Actually, no. I think it's this month. I'm sorry, this month.
That's okay.
Same thing with John Wick.
I don't have it, so that's fine by me.
John Wick 3. I want to see it.
All I'm saying
Anyways,
is
go ahead.
David Harbour movie
Yeah.
ties in.
All
And
right.
I think it brings us to let me do that again. I think that closes out the Geek Beat.
All right, so we don't want you guys to be confused. We did previously record this. It is going to be TC, JJ, and the Dungeon Master with our awesome interview with Dawn McTeigue.
Very good.
Okay, so very special interview today. We are interviewing a comic artist, Dawn McTeigue. Dawn, how are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We've been trying to do this for a while. We're so excited that you had some time and you could chat with us tonight.
Absolutely.
Yay, me too.
So we're really excited to talk about your new project, DiVinica. That's with Rothic Publications, correct?
Yes, that's correct. With JP Roth and published by her company called Rothic.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, but before we get into that, we want to talk about the Dawn McTeigue origin story. So, like we try to describe it to people as, what would your origin story be if it was in like a comic book?
I love that. I'm a horrible writer, so I'll do my best.
It's all right. I'm sure you'll do fine.
Well, that includes JP Roth as well, because she and I have known each other since we were kids, and she has a bunch of novels that she's written, and at the time she wanted to start them out as comic books, and of course that was the plan, and she followed through on that. They did come out as comic books first, and she wrote me and was like, I'm thinking about getting into comics, would you consider drawing for some of my comic books? And I was like, no, I'm not that good. Like, I had followed comics for a long time. So, my origin story starts out as very much a fan of J. Scott Campbell, Mark Silvestri, Mike Turner,
All very good
all
choices.
those 90s comic
Yeah.
book guys, right? And so I I knew what comic art looked like, and I knew I wasn't up to snuff, in my opinion. She would not take no for an answer, and basically was like, "You're doing this or else." So I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." And that's how I personally got into comic books. I mean, drawing for them.
That's cool. Very fun
Nice.
stuff. So we did a little bit of our due diligence and research on you. Basically, we scoured your website, and so so we saw that you've lived in various countries and places. Do you have any interesting stories or interesting places that you've been throughout your life?
Could you repeat the last thing?
I said, do you have any like fun stories or like want to share like any of the interesting places that you've lived or the stuff that you've done in various places?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was born in Melbourne, Australia.
Wow.
And lived the majority of my life overseas, like you saw. I would have to say one of the countries that had the greatest influence on me would be Japan. So I lived in Japan for, I think, 3.5 years. And in that time, I learned to speak Japanese fluently. I could not read the kanji letters, right? But they put most of it in what's called Romaji. So that's kind of English letters, Japanese language.
Wow.
And I really got into a lot of the comics there. So I would say that my original influences were definitely in the Japanese anime. And that style is something that I love. And over time, of course, my style has shifted a bit, but I would say that like I still somewhat draw eyes the way I used to, just updated. I put my own spin on it, but definitely like if you look at the way I draw eyes, technically if you compare them to a human eye, they're so wrong on so many levels. You just can't even. But it influenced my style in that I have a little bit of that anime-esque element into my own work, even though of course it's not exactly the same. As far as stories, I mean, I got to do so many different things. And one time in Japan, I did one of those ramen bowl eating contests. And I ate 11 bowls.
Wow, that's amazing.
Did you say
I'm a winner with chopsticks.
Did you say 11 bowls? You said 11. You said 11 bowls you ate.
I'm sorry.
Did you say you had 11 bowls of ramen?
Yes, they were mini bowls,
Okay.
but yes, in like the course of 5 minutes or something. It was like one of those timed food fair races.
Wow.
Still pretty
I
impressive.
didn't win
Wow.
at all.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's awesome though. So in terms of like your artistic background, like do you have any like family that was also into art? Maybe like any of your siblings, parents, anybody that like that within your family that kind of you were inspired by, or is it more just kind of like outside influences?
Definitely my mom has a strong artistic side. She focuses a lot more on painting and then crafting and sculpting. So she really enjoys that as a hobby. She, took care of us
Yeah.
our whole lives. So she didn't get into art as a profession, but she definitely nurtured that in me. My dad is not an artist at all, but he really was the encourager. So when I would like pitch a fit and throw all my art stuff in the trash and be like, I'm horrible and I quit forever, because I'm like that. My dad would like pick it all up and be like, it's so nice, you did a good job, sweetie.
Very supportive.
And so he really encouraged me along for sure.
That's great.
As far as professional artists in my small family, no, I believe I'm the only one.
Very cool. Are your kid? I know you've mentioned that you have a couple of little ones running around. Are any of them into art?
My youngest is. My little ones aren't so little anymore.
Yeah.
My eldest is 17.
Oh, okay.
My middle child is almost 15, and then my youngest is 9, and he is currently working on issue 6. And each of his comic book issues are 100 pages.
Wow.
Wow.
And he is on issue 6 of his own comic called Catman.
Great.
And
That's awesome.
It's definitely influenced by Minecraft and Roblox, which are
There you
games.
go.
Yes,
For
yes.
those who don't know. And it also turning our cat Sherlock into a superhero. So he's working on it, and he has all his buddies doing fan art. It's really cute.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Hopefully he'll get his work published.
Oh yeah, I mean his grasp of certain things, like framing ideas, his storyboarding. I'm like, dude, I need to like sit down and learn from you. He's got it.
It's a good
so
person to
cool.
bounce ideas off of.
Yeah. So I know I follow your newsletter and stuff, and I know that you're quite busy in the traveling, and when you're not traveling, you're extremely busy at home. I just wanted to know is like, how do you balance your home and your business travels? I mean, when I see you at the conventions, I usually see you by yourself. Does your husband always travel with you, or do you have an assistant that's kind of like behind the scenes that nobody sees?
Well, thank you firstly for being on my newsletter. That's so cool of you.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, as far as the travel goes, I usually end up being at a show with other artists that I know, so you'll be next to somebody, like, because we bump into each other a lot, I kind of know everyone at the con for the most part, or at least a few.
Like con
So
family.
I never really feel like I'm alone. My husband is not able to travel with me because when I'm gone, he manages everything on the home front.
Gotcha.
Everything.
Gotcha.
We don't live near any family. Both of our parents live in the U.S., so we don't have any grandparents around or anything like that we would be able to leave the kids with. So as such, we have to really schedule everything so that he can take the time off work. And then as far as the conventions themselves, I need to get more in shape, so I'm cool with carrying all my bags and not getting too wiped out because I'm such a desk potato. I'm a desk potato, not a couch potato.
Yeah.
Same difference.
I don't know. We read your
But
workout
yeah,
regimen.
Pretty much I handle the conventions and the travel and my luggage and all of that on my own. But it's not a big deal.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you're being honest about that need to carry the bags thing. I read the workout regimen that you have listed on your bio. It seems pretty intense.
That I need to update that. That's when I was really on it with that shit. Now I need to get back on that and do better. But thank you.
So you briefly did mention the cons. Do you have any that are like a favorite of yours, or that's like kind of the most fun to attend as an artist?
Well, for me, they're all so much fun to go to. I'd say New York Comic Con is really fun because you are smack downtown. So you get to, and the city never sleeps, basically. So
That's
after
true.
the show day is over, in a lot of other places, everything that the city has to offer is closed by the time I get out of the con, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I pretty much get to the show and get back home as quickly as possible. So I'm not really able to go around and see the city. Whereas in New York, I can. So I'm not in any way dissing anyone else's city. It's just I do get to see New York when I go there. Go to Times Square or whatever, eat some street meat, which I love. And then the Calgary Expo, because it's my home show, so my husband can be there with me, and I get to sleep in my own bed. It's really wonderful. So I'd say those two are really fun, but there's something wonderful and exciting about every con. I get to see people that I've been talking with on Facebook, for instance, for 4 years, and then I finally get to meet them, or I see someone's stack of comic books that they bring to sign, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so surreal. I don't think I'm ever gonna get used to that.
Yeah, that's got to be awesome. Just a quick one. Next time you're there, the best street meets 53rd and 6th Avenue, the Halal guys.
Okay.
JJ, you got a question?
Yeah. So, a quick question. So at the cons, do you get a lot of requests for sketches and drawings and everything like that? Is there one that sticks out the most? Like somebody asked you to draw a lot of?
Probably yes. I would say mostly I get asked to draw Harley Quinn, then Lady Death, and Wonder Woman.
Okay.
So just so you know, JJ has a Stargirl from you.
Yep.
And you told him, was that the first Stargirl you'd ever done?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was done at Baltimore Comic Con.
Yeah.
Baltimore,
Yeah. And I love it. It's one of my favorite pieces. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, I know you had mentioned that both your parents and your husband's parents are in the States. What made you guys decide to settle in Canada, of all places?
I know, right?
not that it's
Well,
bad. I'm not putting anything bad on Canadians or Canada itself.
Yeah, my husband is Canadian. So Dan, he was born Canadian. I was born American, right? But both of our mothers are Canadian. So my mom is Canadian, his mom is Canadian. Our dads are Americans. So we're dual.
Nice.
Nice.
And Dan grew up most of his life in Vancouver. And so he wanted to move back to Vancouver when we were deciding where we wanted to live. And I was not going to do it. I can't handle that kind of rain. It really bums me out. So we kind of looked around to decide where else would be fine. And I'm like, Calgary's sunny. Little did I know it gets like 50 below zero in the winter, but it's still sunny.
Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say is like
that's kind of why we decided to move here. Is also we wanted our kids to go to school in Canada. So those were kind of our reasons why we did that. And again, that's nothing against anywhere else. It's just when you can choose either country. We just felt that Canada was a better fit for us. That's all.
Nice.
Oh,
Sure.
Good.
So I know you have like all the technical equipment and supplies that you use listed on your website again, but I wanted to ask you something outside of all that technical stuff. What are kind of the must-haves in your art space when you're knee deep in work?
That's such a good question.
Oh, thank
because,
you.
yeah,
I always
the
always
list
look
could
for
go
that.
on forever, but if I had to like pick three things, the three things I can't live without, and you're gonna think I'm completely nuts.
No, we know a lot
I
of crazy
need
people.
My
Don't
drawing
worry.
gloves.
Okay.
So I wear running sleeves, and they're thumbhole sleeves, fingerless. I can't function without them. I feel naked drawing without them. Like I might as well just run around streaking because that's how uncomfortable I feel. I know it's very weird.
Wow.
Then the other thing I need is a kneaded eraser and a mechanical pencil. If I'm sketching, it needs to be the 0.9 millimeter. If I'm doing refined work or like final lines, it needs to be the 0.3.
Wow.
And then if someone's being really kind and letting me take one more item, it would be a little duster brush to get rid of my eraser because I don't like touching the paper. And, yeah, I feel like skin should never really be in contact with the paper, and I'm really weird about it. So those are my things.
Hey, everybody has their thing, So one of our members who couldn't be here tonight, we call him Bojo because as a kid he got nicknamed Bonus Jonas. He's an art guy too, and he was looking at some of the social media posts that you made and noticed that you used a lot of Copic markers. Do you just use those in your sketching, or have you used them in your final work as well?
Well, I've done a few covers with Copic marker. So I did a Vampirella 50th anniversary, and that was like a mixture of Copic marker and colored pencil. For the most part, though, the majority of my work is like, I need to rephrase that. Okay, Copic markers are primarily for commissions.
Okay.
And then for my actual like cover work and stuff like that, for the most part, it's drawn, inked in black and white, and scanned and colored digitally. So
Yeah.
Copic markers are, they have a place in actual published work. So like DiVinica issues 1 through 3, I colored completely with Copic marker.
Oh, wow.
They're a little bit more time consuming. So I've switched actually to watercolor and acrylic for my interiors for DiVinica now because I can cover a lot more space.
Huh.
Oh, that's going
like
to be interesting to see.
sliver of the time than it takes to do with Copic marker. But for travel and for just general happy fun time, I love working with Copic markers. So, it's one of those things I need it all.
Wow.
Nice.
So one of our good friends, Billy Tucci, he's a local guy here on Long Island, and we're pretty good friends with him.
I love Billy.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
he's a good guy. So he's done a lot of this crowdfunding on Kickstarter
different
and
projects,
different
comics.
projects. Have you thought about that, or have you experienced any of that yourself? Have you done any or thinking about doing any?
With Kickstarter, I've like done art for other Kickstarters. So like I do a lot of Lady Death covers for their Kickstarters. They'll put me on any number of different tiers. As far as for myself personally, right now I've given it tons of thought, and it's just not at a point where it's for me maybe yet. I'm not ruling it out. It's just that I haven't been working on a project where it just seemed like Kickstarter was the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just I haven't gotten there yet.
Right.
I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen your Lady Death stuff you did it with Brian Polito. I think the last one, his last Kickstarter, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Looks good.
Thank you.
So we've noticed that you've done, work for pretty much every publisher in the business at this point. Yeah, close. Do you have is there like a cover that you would consider like your most successful in terms of like, I guess, like financially, or like whatever, or maybe even one that you just felt was the most successful to you?
Interesting. I wouldn't necessarily want to like tag anything as like the most successful, or one was a bigger deal than the other or something like
Sure.
that. I would say that I did have a career goal and at some point before I died, I wanted to be able to just draw a couple Harley pages. And so
I saw you did the Gang of
Palmiotti
Harleys,
was
yeah.
very kind and gave me a shot. And I got to draw 5 interior pages for Harley and her gang of Harleys. So that was a goal. It was one of those bucket list items,
That's
you know.
awesome.
So I was thrilled that I was able to do it. I will be forever grateful to Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor for giving me a shot.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just being able to do covers for all the companies that I've had a chance to work for thus far. I mean, I still have the like, oh my God, pinch me. Because I mean, I love being able to do what I do. I get to work from home and take care of my kids. It's just, I feel so grateful.
That's great.
That's awesome. Is there but by the way, Jimmy's such a great guy. We had the pleasure of, you know, spending some time with him at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
They had their special DC Universe Harley Quinn headquarters, and he kind of basically gave us, like, you know, we told him that because he's really good friends with Billy too, and we're like, oh yeah, he's like, let me take you guys around. He basically gave us like a guided tour. It was pretty cool. It was surreal for
my
us
God,
as
that's
you
awesome.
know, fans. So some of the, like, outside of like the published stuff, do you have like a favorite like commission piece you did? I remember the one I saw you do last year. Is that the one for your newsletter? You did this Angela commission, which is one of the most amazing drawings of Angela I've ever seen done, by the way.
Thank
Do
you.
it was incredible. I was like, how do I get this? Like, I need to find out. And then I saw it was a giveaway for the newsletter. I was like, oh gosh. I was like, I wasn't on the newsletter yet. But is there a piece that stands out to you in terms of a commission side?
Well, since you brought up the Angela, that one was particularly challenging. I'm not gonna lie.
It looks like you put a heck of a lot of work into
what
it.
the story is with the Angela, and I'm so thrilled you brought her up because on December 1st, so I guess you're on my email list, so you are aware. But like on December 1st, every year, I started this in 2017. I give away an 11 by 17 commission for free. And I have like, just because of the time it takes to do an 11 by 17 commission, to color it and everything like that, it actually takes longer than to do an industry cover. So I don't have a ton of time to do those, but I do one at Christmas time. So the 2018 winner of the contest was like, I want you to draw Angela from the Spawn era. And I know this person who won. I've known them for years. They've been supporting me since like my first convention.
That's awesome.
So it was really cool that they won, because of course it's just a computerized raffle number picker thingy, right?
Yeah,
You know,
and a
so I have no
randomizer.
control over who wins. And I was just like, because I knew him well enough, I gave him so much shit for it. Pardon my language.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, oh my God. And he's like, yep, all the chains, the ribbons, the whole thing. I mean, and he's like, I want it to look like that. It needs to be from the Capullo era. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, you didn't.
That is such a tough commission.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely pulled out all the
It was
stops
really
on that
fun.
one.
I went a little overboard on the chains, I'm sure, but I'd say that one has a fond memory to it, because it was from the commission contest last year at Christmas time, and you know, this year I don't know what's going to be picked for whoever wins, but it's always a treat for me too, because you know, people usually want to pick something they haven't seen me draw before, so it's challenging.
Well, we're crossing our fingers for
all
us to
all three of us.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you did some of the interiors for Harley Quinn. I know you've done other interiors too. How do you approach interiors differently than you do covers?
Covers are really about the pose.
Mm-hmm.
The pose. Okay. Now there are different types of covers. In the general covers that I do are generally a single character, and they're more pinup, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'll decide to not go pinup, but usually I'm doing the limited book. You know, the limited book is lower numbers, higher price, stuff like that. So what I try to do is really focus on the pose and the character herself. Generally, it's a female character, though I have done an Exo Man of War and a Bloodshot, and then a Bruce Wayne for the Batman 50. But in general, I usually get asked to draw female characters. So I really try to think about their character, their personality, which pose would actually be appropriate for said character. You know, like Wonder Woman is a perfect example. She is a goddess. She is regal. You wouldn't necessarily put her in the same pose that Harley Quinn could get away with.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting.
absolutely.
I feel like you're the first person that we've talked to, and we've talked to a lot of artists. We're big art guys ourselves, who've ever kind of put it that way. Like, taking the character's characteristics and, applying that to the pose. That's really interesting.
That is.
Yeah, because it's all about their personality.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Otherwise, you're just drawing a girl, or a character. Like
Right.
their personality needs to come out in that pose, in my opinion.
Wow.
Or I choose to highlight a certain element of their character for a certain cover, or I'm requested to highlight certain things, or we want this to be a fierce warrior girl pose. Well, then I'll think about that and add that into her facial expression, etc., etc. The thing with interior art is that it's all about the storytelling.
Right.
So the pose, yes, it matters, but almost facial expression, angle, and mood are more important than the pose, whereas it flips for covers. So I'm really trying to study that, like the art of storytelling in comic art. Framed ink is a book I'm studying. Framed perspective, because God, I don't like drawing buildings. All of those things are where I'm really having to put my nose in a book and start learning this kind of stuff, because I really want the series that I'm doing interiors for now, DiVinica, I want it to just, like when you flip through the pages, I want you to just dive into it and not be able to put it down, and I've got to do some studying, man.
That's great. Those were great answers to that question. Probably the best I think we've had in a question like that.
Thank you.
Nice. Hey, are there any characters you'd like to work on in the future?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Are there any characters that you would that you would like to work on in the future?
Wow, so many. But the thing is I want to be ready for them when the time, like when the job were to come to me, I want to know I can do it and I can nail it. And so, there are things now that I would of course love to do, but I'm not sure if I'm really like ready for that. Does that make sense?
It does.
Like I would feel so badass if I drew a Spider-Man, but I know that the buildings would probably kill me at this point. But you know what? If in 10 years I can like nail a Spider-Man cover, I will be so proud of myself.
That'd be awesome.
So we've
to answer that seriously, I've always really wanted to draw something with Wonder Woman and something with Harley. But again, at this point, what I really want more than anything is to take DiVinica through to the end and for it to just be epic. Because it's not just DiVinica. There's goddesses from every pantheon of mythology that tie into the character DiVinica and the series and the everything that we're doing, and it's just so cool. And so really, I think my answer would have to be the character that I'm working on now and the series that I'm working on now.
All right. So since we got to that topic, we have a couple more questions, but we'll circle back to them. Let's go into DiVinica.
Okay.
It's your co-created project with JP Roth, like you said earlier, right? And it's published by her company at Rothic. So how about you tell us a little bit about what DiVinica is and, what stands out, what you think stands out about the character and the story, of course.
Okay. She is tough. She's had to deal with a lot. What she's had to deal with, we're not really sure yet. Well, you won't be sure.
We're not sure yet.
But she has had to face so many things, and what she has to do in the future, in the different series and the challenges that are set before her. She's going to be figuring out with you along the way. And so I love that about this character. She has a purpose, but she doesn't know it yet. And she's still figuring it out. And we're all going to be figuring out what it is that she needs to do, because she is going to wake up in issue 5 in just the most messed up version of our world that you could imagine. Basically, take all the good out of the world and get rid of it. There's no life. There's no animals. There's no plants. There's just nothing. So it's a desolate wasteland. Kind of, you could say it has a post-apocalyptic look to it, but it's not really post-apocalyptic. So that twist, again, I have to keep my mouth shut because I am like such a bean spiller. It's bad. So I'm trying to be careful about that, and I don't want to ruin the story for everyone. But it ties into mythology, and we're mostly focusing on goddesses, and we're taking them from all different pantheons of mythology. Because, yes, in the Greek mythology, there is most attributes from goddesses are covered. You can find a goddess in Hindu mythology that's very similar to, say, a goddess in Greek mythology. If you look at their attributes, they're actually quite the same. It's just the Hindu version, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to take the Hindu version. We're going to take the Chinese version. We're going to make it as global as we possibly can to just to bring in more people, to help someone feel that they are also represented in a comic book, their culture. And we try our very best to make sure it's as respectful as we possibly can. And it's been really fun to do that and to get to study, other mythologies and other histories and stuff. And so for me, it's just been a wealth of enjoyment to draw.
That's awesome that you said that, because sorry about that. There's so many, when you look around, even like when you go to comic book convention, there's people from all walks of life, all colors, all races and religion, and they're looking for stuff. Everybody wants to be represented in comic books, and that's awesome that you guys are going that route with it. It's really cool. You have a question, JJ? Sorry.
No.
I was cutting. I'm cutting one of our own members off. Oh, you didn't have a question. I'm
Nope.
sorry. So when can people get this next? So has the first issue come out already?
Well, DiVinica 1 through 4, we're focusing on different goddesses, kind of
Okay.
to get everybody going, right? And
Mhm.
then DiVinica issue 5 is where we are introducing the titular character, and the style of the book is still fully done traditional, which is how we're doing it, but it's going way more into an actual paneled comic book story series.
Gotcha.
The first 4 were one shots. That
Yeah.
were just about that specific goddess. And so we did, the first one we did was Aphrodite, you know, because it's something familiar for everyone. You know, the next one we did, we went to First Nation gods, and we did Nokomis, and then Native American. In Canada, we refer as First Nation. And then we did Isis, the goddess of Egypt, and then we did Magu, who's a Chinese goddess. And generally, they all focus around women and life and creation and all of that, those kind of things. You know, health, knowledge. You know, those are the kind of goddesses that we've been focusing on. And then on issue 5 is where we are introducing the titular character, where you'll actually see DiVinica herself and find out how she ties in to the mythologies and what we're doing. So issue 5 is really just for you to get to know her and the world that she actually lives in now.
That's cool. I have to catch up now.
Yeah. So we had to like come up with the environment, set up the world, you know, decide exactly what she's going to be wearing, like the whole visual side of it we had to figure out. So like that's the interesting thing for me about this series, and it's not going to come out as fast as a regular comic book, you know, one a month,
Right.
because I'm drawing, inking, painting the whole thing.
Wow.
And each one is character creation, world build, and design.
That's
so
impressive.
It's like starting a new comic book series with every book, because that's how JP Ross and I roll. We make it as difficult as possible for ourselves.
Hey, at least you know the people who are doing it, right?
Yep.
So when is issue 5 going to be available? Do you guys have a date yet?
Yes, we are going to be putting it out in previews for solicits in the beginning of December, and so that's for early March. Published.
Awesome.
That's exciting.
And are you guys doing a bunch of covers for that as well? I think I saw a couple on the Rothic website. That look pretty cool.
Yep. Lots of art.
Lots of art. Yeah, that's what we love. I was looking at some of the covers for it, and you know the art that you shared with us is just beautiful. You know, we won't say what it is in case it's spoilerific, but we appreciate you sharing that with us.
And yeah, you guys can totally post it or whatever.
Okay.
All
right.
Well, thank you.
We'll talk.
Go for it.
We'll talk about that after we do the first goodbye.
These covers are stunning. Even the older issues you had, the Aphrodite. I mean, it's a beautiful cover.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's cool. We're really excited for that, and we're gonna read it, and we're gonna definitely tell all our followers to check it out as well. So the one last question that we did want to ask. So you mentioned some of the pretty heavy hitters earlier as your artistic influences in the business, like J. Scott Campbell and Mark Silvestri, Michael Turner. Did you ever? I mean, I'm sure at the cons you've run into them. Have you ever had a chance to speak to them and get and maybe any meaningful advice from those guys?
Believe it or not, yes.
That's awesome.
One time, so this is one of those stories that, it still baffles me that this worked out. But I was at Emerald City Comic Con in. It was 2015, and a friend of mine came up and was like, "Oh, you're packing up your table right now because you need to leave for a bit." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, no, the show's not over. What is happening?" I literally never leave my table if I can help it, right? So I was just like, "What is going on?" J. Scott Campbell comes up, and he's like, "Dawn, how would you like to go for lunch and you can have an art class?" And so all of my friends had worked it all out. So JP Roth, Sabine, everyone, they know what how much I admire J. Scott Campbell's art, and they worked it out. He was there for a signing with Stan Lee for a couple hours, and he took time out of his day, which is unbelievably busy, I can only imagine,
Yeah.
to take me out for coffee and basically let me ask him any art-related question I could think of. And he gave me a little art class and explained certain things about anatomy and like drew on a piece of paper for me. And I was just like, I actually like immediately started crying when they told me
Wow.
that. So it's just so meaningful. Like the support and kindness that I've felt from the artists that I admire in the industry has just been unbelievable. They've really given us a lot of advice, a lot of help. When JP Roth and I first started, we printed our comic book at Kinko's. It was the wrong spec. I drew everything on printer paper because I had no idea. We took our prints and rolled them up and tied them with bows. and what we've learned now has come through trial and error and a lot of support and advice from these artists that, Ebass has helped us a ton.
I love his work
the
too.
whole Aspen crew, Joe Benitez, Vince Hernandez, Peter Steigerwald, they all supported us and gave us advice and told us who we needed to talk to and how we needed to do it. And, we will always be grateful to them.
That's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's good. It's a good story for anyone who's an aspiring artist to hear. And,
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really cool.
So when are we going to see some collaboration between you and J. Scott Campbell?
I did a connecting cover with J. Scott Campbell in 2012, I believe.
Really?
J.P. Roth's Southern Nightgown.
Oh, we gotta track that down.
We're gonna find that one.
Or maybe it was 2013. I may have gotten my dates mixed up, but anyway, a while ago.
Oh, don't worry.
Yeah, that was a fangirl happiness moment.
Yeah, the internet will find it. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
we're also big J. Scott Campbell fans. We tend to buy every single one of his covers.
Yeah. It's bad. I
don't blame you, man.
They're
so good.
I have a big affinity with Mary Jane, and all he does is draw Mary Jane. It's very tough to say no.
So the last thing I just want to ask about. So you do a lot of live work on Twitch.
Yes.
How does that work for you? Do you enjoy doing that? What are the pros and cons of that?
I'm very camera shy. So initially it was very difficult. I would stand there and pace back and forth for like 20 minutes just trying to work up the courage to click record. Since then, and I'd be nervous. My hands would be shaking for like the first 15, 20 minutes as well until I could get used to like everybody talking or, like just what am I going to do? Am I going to fail on camera? I mean, I have failed on camera. I've done some colossal disaster pieces, but, it's really helped me not have that fear. I mean, I would have avoided you guys for a podcast just because I'm so shy if I hadn't had that practice with Twitch. I would say that the initial thing is probably just getting used to the multitask element of drawing and trying to meet a deadline while also reading and trying to interact.
Right.
And so for me, sometimes it's the like, how much focus to put on which thing, if you're focusing too much on drawing, you're going to be pretty boring,
Yeah.
and then, so I'm always like trying to get the right balance. And so that's always, I think, gonna always be a little bit of a challenge to find the right balance and continue to get work done. But it's been so cool in the way that usually in comics, you're under a pretty strong non-disclosure agreement, right? But the publishers that I've worked with thus far have all given me permission to live stream on Twitch.
That's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I guess that they see the value too because, word is getting out to maybe people on the Twitch platform that aren't on Facebook or something like that. And it's not like I have a massive following by any means. I am slow grow. But it's still, I think it brings a little bit more of a community around the piece, and I'm just loving the community of people that have followed me from Facebook to Twitch. And it's just fun, now I'm feeling more comfortable, it is a lot more like a party. So if you are planning to come to the December 1st Twitch party, it'll be fun.
That's cool. Yeah,
I have to mark our calendars.
I've caught a few of your Twitch streams, and I enjoy watching them. It's a fun thing to watch other artists, do their work and see how they do it. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, I'm so impressed by people who like do that and then read the comments too. We're friends with Kreese. He's another artist from Long Island, and he does like Twitch all the time. It's like, I don't know how you do this, man. It's like there's so many comments, and then you're like drawing at the same time. I don't know how you stay focused, but kudos to you guys for doing that.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so now we really appreciate that you joined us today, and we're gonna send out all the words to all the people we know on the street on DiVinica.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
We'll get the exact date for you and tell everyone to put that on their pull list at their local comic shops. But we wish you a huge success with that, and hopefully
Thanks, guys.
we'll talk to you in the future about new issues of DiVinica.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
All right, Dawn. Thank you again. It was so much fun having you on the show, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you. You too. You guys rock.
We try.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much, Dawn. That was a lot of fun. You had some amazing answers to some of the questions we had. I really like that whole thing you talked about with the bringing the character into the drawing. I've never even thought about that, but I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for, especially in your drawings.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
try
cool.
not to disappoint.
So you said you were okay with us posting it. So we're gonna release this episode for December 9th. We usually release 2 episodes a month. So the next one we're releasing is the 9th. And what'll happen is when you hear it, we're actually we'll thread in some current news that's happening, and we'll probably have like an ending segment, but your interview will be like the main point of focus.
You're the
in
focus.
the episode. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
And if you wouldn't mind, if you're comfortable with it, of course, when we post it, so we post on Don't Feed the Geeks and Long Island Comic Guys. If you can just share it on your end, if you wouldn't mind, that would be so great.
100%.
Yeah. And then, if there's any other information about the book that you want to send us in the email, let us know. And, when we put the post out there, we'll make sure to include all that information.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
No, this was fun.
Thank
we're
you.
so glad
Oh.
we could work it out. I know, with your schedule, it gets tough, but we're glad we could do this one when we did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
You guys have any?
No, I think we're
questions?
good, and I look forward to seeing it another show.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah.
For sure.
We already marked our calendars for December 1st. So. All right. Okay. So
All right.
have a good night, Dawn. We'll let you go and get back to your responsibilities.
Happy holidays to you.
Yes. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you guys as well. Thank you again so much.
Oh, Dawn. One more question. Is there a picture of yourself that you'd want to use if you want to send that, like a promotional picture? I can send you an example of like the type of promos we send out if that helps. But any type of promotional picture, we have one of the guy who couldn't be here, Bojo. He usually puts together all those graphics for us.
Okay, yes, I'll make sure to get something to you. I don't have any updated ones, so I have red hair in there. But,
Yeah, I mean,
it's fine.
whatever you're comfortable using, and that's what we'll use.
Cool.
Excellent.
All right, have a good night, Dawn.
All right. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you.
Thank you,
too.
Dawn. Good
All
night.
right. Bye.
All right, we want to thank Dawn again. That was a great interview, super informative. She definitely taught us some stuff.
Really nice. I
Yeah.
like her. She was very pleasant to talk to. I can't wait I'd like to get her on the show again.
And now we've turned our teleporters on. The dungeon master disappeared back to his own home.
And
To his
and
basement.
we brought in Toy Story and Bojo.
dungeon. It's his dungeon.
Dungeon.
He's not a master of nothing. It's obviously a dungeon. All right, so we have kind of a fun ending segment, seeing that it is the holiday season, and we don't want to waste any of our really good fun segments that we were going to put a lot of work into.
Is that code for none of us did that?
No, I think we have a couple on the back burner that we wanted
Yeah,
to
I
do.
have a few on the back burner. It's all good.
All right, so we think this is kind of a fun change of pace.
What's that?
Since it's the holiday season, what are our favorite heroes' favorite meals for the holidays?
Huh.
So, like, I'll give you an example.
Give us an example.
So let's say Batman.
Batman.
He obviously loves turkey, but only the dark meat.
You're wrong. You're wrong. It's lobster thermidor. Anyone who's seen Lego Batman knows that.
No, it's a dark meat.
No.
My God, I love that movie.
It's a great movie,
so
actually.
good. It's such a wonderful celebration of him. This is kind of fun.
It is. I thought
What
it
would
was a little
Swamp Thing have for a holiday meal?
Oh, you're doing tough ones.
Stuffing.
Do you have an answer?
Stuffing.
No, stuffing.
Yeah, I feel like stuffing. I don't
You
know
think
why.
he'd be okay with stuffing?
I feel like
What does
it.
he eat?
Bread?
Probably
like-
cranberry,
It looks a
canned
little
cranberries.
swampy.
He'd probably have like yams.
No,
right?
I have the perfect person for cranberries.
What?
We'll get to it. I feel like the most generic one would be Superman. Superman's gonna eat all his meat and vegetables first, and his potatoes, and then he's like, "I really want a nice slice of apple pie."
Oh, he would have apple pie. You think he'd eat meat? I know in the Jeff Johns run of I'm getting into it. I know in the Jeff Johns run, he loved hot dogs, which just seems like a really weird thing. But I also feel like hot dogs are all the discard meat, so like Superman would be all about not wasting.
It doesn't matter to him because it doesn't affect him in any way.
That's
I mean,
true.
It is great. He could have the whole pie and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be the same weight tomorrow."
750 pounds.
All right, let's get to the one everyone's wondering. JJ, what does Aquaman eat?
I'm gonna wager not fish.
Well, there is a turkey fish, also known as the lionfish. So he'll have a turkey fish. Bam!
Interesting.
Check that out.
Wow.
A turkey
You're prepared
fish
for
is
that.
known as a lionfish. So yes, he is having
You see,
lionfish.
all that time you spend under the sea finally helped.
That's right. And you know what he does is he wraps it when he cooks. He wraps it in seaweed.
Ah, steams it.
Steams
Nice.
it in seaweed because it gets that flavor in
Nice
from the
salty
salt.
flavor.
Yes. Oh God.
He brines it in the
brines-
ocean.
That's great. Oh my
Little
gosh.
side of urchin. He eats. Trust me, it's good.
I was just gonna make a joke that he eats Krabby Patties, but your answer is so much better.
That would have been good.
No, he would never have Krabby Patties.
Look it up. Turkey fish, also known as lionfish.
I'm going to. Lion-o fish?
Li-
All right. What about you, Toy Story? You have a fun one? I'll tell you the one who eats the cranberry and
Yeah,
the
let me hear
candle.
that.
Definitely Spider-Man. He's always poor. I believe
I was
in
gonna say that he
in the
was gonna
Tobey
eat-
Maguire Spider-Man movie, he was the one tasked with
That's
picking
right.
up the canned
the canned one.
cranberries.
That is right.
Forgot about that. I would have said a sandwich of all the leftovers the next
I,
day.
I opened up 3 cans for this past Thanksgiving.
Did you really?
3.
You know what?
I
As
ate
a
up all 3.
as a
I
kid-
love that crap.
As a kid,
love
I didn't
canned-
like it as much, but as I've gotten older, like I had a couple slices, and I was like, I'm trying not to eat too much of it, but I was like, one more. So I had one more turkey and then like 4 without turkey.
I told my wife, you can just open up a can and put it on my plate, and I will
Hey,
put a spoon in
only
it.
the
I will
canned
eat
kind,
it.
though?
Oh,
And
God.
that's the only
time I
kind.
can-
That's the only kind I like too.
We
Like,
have-
I don't want you to mess around, like make me something fancy. It's like no, I want the marks of the can in it, so you know where to cut it.
we have both. We have the fancy kind and the canned
And you have
one,
the
and
canned
I'm the only one that eats the canned kind.
Oh, I like
That's
it.
funny.
Let those bourgeois.
I even have
the fancy
we even have
kind.
a special cranberry canned spoon that's made just for.
Oh, for
It's
the grooves,
vintage.
like, where-
That's
vintage.
great.
Cool.
I gotta you gotta show me that.
It's
That-
awesome.
That's probably pretty cool. Who are other fun ones? Flash. What does
Everything.
he eat?
You can't see what he eats. He eats it so fast.
I feel like he's mac and cheese guy.
I feel like he would carb load. He would definitely have like trays of lasagna.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah,
Wonder
because if he ate turkey, I mean, that would just put him to sleep.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman would eat like venison. The one that she caught herself.
Yeah.
Does she eat meat?
I don't know.
Well, in our version, they all eat meat.
It may give her gas.
Let's see. Let's do some villains.
Oh, okay.
Joker.
Joker. No.
It depends on whatever the family who he killed.
He's killing.
Yeah, whatever they have on the table.
Yeah, you just,
A very bloody steak.
I could see that.
What's wrong with rare steak? I love rare steak. Are you calling me the Joker? What's going on?
I like medium rare.
Medium rare.
No.
you like your cow still mooing?
Oh
no,
yeah,
no,
buddy.
no.
Yeah, buddy.
I'll do medium rare at a good place. I don't like it overly bloody. I also don't like black and blue, which I've had a couple times.
No, black and blue is a little rough for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Who else?
We're pulling here. We're pulling.
We're pulling. Oh yeah.
Obviously, the Green Goblin has pumpkin pie.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you.
See? So
I don't know.
tough.
I don't know.
Green Lantern. Yeah, obviously it's lame, the lamest thing ever.
It's
'cause
the
they're all
green
lame.
beans, almondine.
A green bean casserole.
Vulture would probably have duck.
Vulture.
Duck, right?
You said the vulture though.
Yeah.
Duck. That's pretty good.
You ever heard of turkey vultures?
What,
Turkey
You
vultures.
think,
No, I haven't.
you think Howard
Oh.
would eat duck?
Who?
You think Howard would eat duck? He'd probably
I
eat
think it's
chicken.
cannibal. Yeah, probably.
He's like, I'm gonna have a turducken.
Turducken.
He'll eat the chicken and the duck. I'm the turducken.
Yeah, this is a weird one.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
a
You
little
have to have
change
the
of
turkey
pace.
and the chicken, and then he would be the turducken. Sorry.
He would, you're right.
I forgot which fowl he was.
Wow.
Did you say the
Riddler.
word foul in a sentence?
Yeah, I desperately wanted to say
Referencing a
fowl.
bird?
Yes.
Amazing.
The Riddler would probably have mystery meat.
Mystery.
We would never know what the Riddler had.
Oh gosh, what other heroes are there out there?
I
We
would
did
like
so
to
many.
have.
Iron Man, like probably a caviar.
No, he'd have a burger from Burger King.
Shawarma.
Burger for Burger King.
Oh, he would.
He does like burgers.
Instead of going to Thanksgiving dinner, he'd have his limo driver drive to Burger King.
Happy.
Happy Hogan.
Happy.
Oh, what would Happy Hogan have?
A hoagie.
Oh my god.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah.
I think we've beaten this to death.
All right.
I don't think we've done it. I think we should continue. No.
Hey, a more open conversation than something
like
narrowed down to a specific topic where some of us fall asleep. Usually, Junior.
What?
Exactly. All right. So we didn't have any special announcements. What's going on? Anything coming up?
Christmas presents.
Yeah.
We have
Yay.
we have our Christmas party coming up.
Yeah,
which
we
is,
do. It's our Santa swap. If any of you guys have been long-term followers, I think the first episode we did was right after
was,
the
yeah.
Santa swap.
Yep.
So we posted some pictures back in the day. If you want to really do a deep dive, you can see that. So we do basically what it is that it's kind of like a Yankee swap, but we don't use the word Yankee because one of our former guests, Tom Polari, is a really big Mets fan. He doesn't accept the use of the word Yankee in the invitation.
I mean, I'd second that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Mets fan too. But,
Yeah.
so
And
basically,
so is Spider-Man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
yeah. So this year I'm hosting change of pace from bars and having awkward drunks come over and say, hey, what are you doing over here?
What kind of comic is that?
And also that sweet $1,000 bill at the end.
No.
Yeah.
That is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so, everyone brings a gift. We give out numbers. The first person who picks goes to the table. Anyone after that can either steal that gift or open up a gift that hasn't been opened. And, you can keep stealing each gift once per round. It's pretty fun. If you want to do it with your friends, I think it would be a fun thing if you have enough comic geeks to hang out
You
with.
guys
and
don't
do
get your
something
gifts
like
yet?
I did. I did. Got mine.
No.
Dude, just draw something, please.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
know.
still owe Mike Caro
I
a
am
drawing.
well aware of what I still owe my character. I literally am like, I have to make time to.
Next
be
time we do this, you're just
Actually,
going to draw.
What you should do is get Mike Caro to draw it, and then you just put your name on it.
That's not how that works. Oh, his stuff is so good.
I know.
Are any of you guys checking out the Grasshopper?
So
I
will
don't think
be.
I could go for the raffle at night. I'm gonna try and.
My wife today went to Grasshopper Comics.
Grasshopper.
Comics today and bought a bunch of raffle tickets
Nice.
and talked to the owner there too, and he explained all the cool giveaways that they're doing.
Yeah,
So
I think they just sent out the email
Yep.
about all the prizes.
I will be going. JJ here. I'll be going down to drop off a toy, and also I'm gonna stay for the raffle. 'Cause,
Nice.
from my understanding, which they explained to my wife today, was when your number gets chosen, you get to choose anything.
Yes.
If you're not there and your name gets chosen, you get whatever's left over.
So
So
what time's the raffle start?
anytime after 8, it never starts on time.
So
Oh, so it's late.
I think last year it started at like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
By the time they got to the art stuff, it was super late.
Wait, like PM?
Yes.
I know that they usually have guests either drawing or signing.
Yeah.
During the day,
is,
yeah.
Is Joe Kelly going to be there?
I'm
this
hoping
year?
Adam Kubert's going to be there.
Ah,
I do know that Ming Chen, is he one of the comic book men?
Oh, comic book boy. Yes.
he's going to be actually
gonna be there.
James
Oh,
T.
yeah?
in the fourth is also going to be there.
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think Tom Travers is going to be there. Lula Lucas is going to be there. I think they usually have some Kubrick guys there too.
Yeah.
There's someone else I'm unfortunately can't remember right now.
I don't remember. I just remember the dude from the comic book man was going to be
But
there.
I don't know why I didn't repost it, but our buddy Mike Caro did this amazing Doctor Doom painting that he just donated for the charity raffle too. So that's another awesome piece that's going to be in there.
It's very exciting, and
Yeah.
it goes for a great cause.
Yeah, it's the John Thiessen,
Yep.
I believe, Foundation. Does
Yep.
it say it?
the holiday charity raffle.
Yes. Does it say
It's a
for-
John Thiessen Children's Foundation.
Children's Foundation? That was
That's
the part I was
pretty
missing.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
What-
pretty cool. It's a local charity too.
Yeah. And what's the owner's name? What's the? Do we know what the owner's name of Grasshopper is?
Do you know?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
That was like John or something.
Yeah,
But
it
he's-
is John. I don't know his last name,
yeah.
but it's John.
I mean, he's been really good. He's been tagging us in
Yeah.
all his posts.
Yo, that's a ton of stuff up for raffle.
Yeah,
I would
that's a
Yeah,
lot.
the stuff is pretty amazing. That
Something they announced today was a week-long stay at a Myrtle Beach.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
The only thing you have to pay for is the transportation.
I love Myrtle
So
Beach.
it's a, what do you call those? A timeshare at Myrtle Beach. A week-long stay at Myrtle Beach at some resort.
1 week vacation,
There you
Barefoot
go.
Landing Resort. That's funny.
Isn't that great?
But there's also a Yoda life-size statue from Satchel
Yes.
Collectibles.
Dude, these are good prizes.
Yep.
That's awesome.
There's some tool sets.
Billy Joel tickets are expensive. That's
Batman cowl signed by Christian
I mean,
Bale.
I mean, to say the least, you want to check this out. It's for a great cause, and there's a lot of great people donate really great things to this charity event. So if you're in the area, if you're not, you don't have to stay for the raffle. Again, it's better if you do, if you wanted to pick something specific. But if you're really more into just, like entering the raffle and, getting with whatever and, supporting a good cause, we highly recommend that. And I believe they're also taking toy donations as
Yes.
well.
Yep.
So, again, if you don't want to do the raffle and you just want to donate a toy, absolutely do that. And, they're going to have some great guests there during the
There's
day.
so many prizes.
All right.
All right, I'll shut up.
Anything else from you guys?
I think we're good.
No, I think we're good.
All right. So great episode, great interview. It's great to have all you guys here.
Glad I can make it for the interview.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We didn't even address that. We didn't address the last time we saw you. Was it June? Was that the last time you were on?
You
an
mean like
episode?
6 months ago?
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah. Sounds about right.
Pretty sure it was when Toy Story 4 was out in theaters.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a lie. I'm sorry. I just wanted to work the Toy Story angle, and I was really sorry.
All right. So let's circle off here. So how do we usually do this?
Until next time.
Remember.
Oh, remember. You do it again.
Until next time, remember...
Don't be